Hey there, K-Korner fam! It's your host Kran back with another set of wild, wacky, and totally unbelievable stories that you just have to hear to believe. Whether you're a long-time subscriber or just stumbled upon our channel, get ready to be entertained. So grab your favorite snack, sit back, and let's dive into today's tales that are so bizarre they are almost too good to be true. Let's get started. This isn't really my story, but it's my brother's. However, since we're very close siblings, he asked for my help to get the upcoming revenge. And this is how I know this story so well. This happened a couple of years ago when my brother was selling his brand new laptop, which he bought for work shortly after he graduated college with a degree in computer science. He's a smart jerk. Anyway, he posted his laptop on OfferUp, seeing as how the company that just hired him said they would buy him an even newer computer because every employee needs this specific one, and the company provides it for them. So he gets a couple of offers, all lowballing him. It's brand new and barely used, so he's not having it. But this one guy, we will call him Jerk, doesn't even make an offer. He just asks if my brother uses Venmo, the money exchange app. At the time, my brother and I both used it to pay each other for phone bills and whatever else someone might owe the other person. It's pretty useful. So since we trust the app, he responded, yes. The guy says he will Venmo the full amount he was asking for, right then and there. This is a 2015 MacBook Pro, and it's around August of 2017. So this model is still one of the best on the market at the time, worth almost $2,000. My brother was selling it for $1,500. To get $1,500 of the $2,000 would have been amazing for him. Seeing as how no one is going to buy his laptop at full price from OfferUp, my brother is stoked. He agrees, contacts the guy on Facebook, makes the transaction, and meets up with him to give the laptop to him once Venmo notified him and said, the jerk has paid you $1,500. My brother is satisfied and moves on with his life. Later, the next few days, he notices that Venmo never put the money into his bank account, and the app no longer says the money was paid to him. He called Venmo to ask why, and they said that the funds bounced. He already gave the laptop to Jerk. My brother, at this point, is furious. He went off on them about why they would even have the app say the funds are available when they don't even know for sure. They told him it's a family and friends app to repay for little things, which only pissed him off more because that's just a stupid way to say sorry, we lost your money, we said we had for you. So my brother tried to fix it himself. He tried contacting Jerk to see if it was just a simple mistake on his end. Wouldn't you know, the Jerk deleted his profile on OfferUp and blocked him on Facebook. Just so you know, you don't just get a degree in computer science for free. My brother is one smart jerk, as I said before. He asked his co-workers at his job if they were also selling a computer they bought since the company bought them all laptops. Some were selling theirs too. And he asked if they were using OfferUp. One said he was, and my brother wanted to know if anyone had asked him if he used Venmo instead of making an offer. At first, he was confused as to how my brother knew that. He said the first response he got to his post was from someone asking if he used Venmo. His co-worker had never heard of Venmo before and just ignored it, waiting for another offer. It all started to make sense to my brother now. This guy was scamming people of their stuff, very expensive stuff, and turning around and selling it even cheaper for a profit. So my brother set up a little trap. Enter little bro. Me. I had just gotten out of the Marines and was attending college when my brother dropped this whole story on me. I was pissed. No one messes with my brother like that. So I'm already on board to get this dude. The plan was simple. I make a post on OfferUp for the same laptop at a similar price, I wait for one, and only one response. Do you use Venmo? I was skeptical at first. My first thought was, there's no way this guy is that dumb to use the same line in every scam. But thank God he was. Not even 20 minutes after I posted on OfferUp, there it was. Do you use Venmo? I quickly texted my brother with a symbol got him, and he told me exactly what to say to set up the meeting. I got out of school and we headed over to the meeting together. On the way, he's asking me, should we just teach this dude a lesson? I mean, you know exactly how to mess someone up, right? They taught you that in the Marines, right? I had never seen my brother this pissed about anything before, but I'm on board all the way. And I told him, well, duh, But is it worth possibly going to prison over? I mean, I'll definitely do it, but this might bite back at us. Someone had to talk at least a little sense. My brother, hearing that, calmed down a little and thought it might be best to get the police involved. So we googled where the nearest police station was to the meeting place. And I couldn't believe it. The jerk lived right next to a police station. You can't make this stuff up. So we went into the police station, told them the whole story, showed all the evidence we had on our phones, and said we already had a meeting set up and just wanted to bring him in and get the property back. They were surprisingly helpful. I didn't think they would be that quick to help us, but they didn't even hesitate. However, they told us we wouldn't go along due to personal involvement, but they would have 2 detectives handle it so no one would get into a physical confrontation. But we persuaded them to let us ride along so they knew they got the right guy. The revenge. The time to meet had finally arrived. My brother was with one detective camped out up the street in a sleek black car with all tinted windows that just screamed, "I'm a cop," while I was with the officers in a patrol car down the opposite side of the street. I told the cop about my service and I could help if needed, but he insisted I stay in the car. I told him obviously, if he was in trouble, I was going to help, which he smiled and said he understood. Meanwhile, the other detective was waiting patiently for the jerk. The jerk sent me a text saying, "Sorry, I can't meet up. I don't have enough money," which made me think, oh crap, we're losing him. We didn't go through all this trouble getting the police involved to back out now. Hell no. So I respond with, "I can accept the payment plan. Half now, half later, since I'm already here." I'm so damn glad this guy is an idiot. How much more obvious can a trap be? He agrees and sends me what I assume is a fake amount of $680 of the agreed $1,300. And he comes strolling out of his apartment, head held high like he's about to make the biggest payday ever. I hear over the radio from the detective who's waiting for him, "Got visual. Blue shirt, camo shorts. Making contact." The silence between those 2 phrases was deafening, but as soon as we heard "making contact," the cop I'm with floors it from our position. Flipping the lights on, he zips past 5 cars and sees a dude standing in front of the detective, making small talk. He jumps out and grabs the dude's arms, puts them behind his back and starts repeating, "Don't fight back. They'll make this harder for you." Over the radio, the detective says, "Detained." The jerk goes bright white and is so confused and scared. I almost crap myself laughing. The sleek black car my brother is in drives by and I hear over the radio, "That's him." It was my brother. He was so pumped our plan actually worked. Shortly followed by the detective he was with, 100% confirmation. Make the arrest and bring him in. They were actually really surprised at how well we set this up for them and how smoothly it went. They didn't have to do anything but show up and make the arrest. Back at the station, the jerk is being questioned by the police. Meanwhile, my brother is like, "I just want my stuff back." So the cops raided the jerk's apartment and forced the jerk to give back my brother's $2,000 laptop. Luckily, he still had it, but we later learned that it was for sale on jerk's new OfferUp account. Afterwards, the police told my brother that since he got his stuff back, there is not much else they can do except give him a citation and let the court system handle the rest. My brother sat and thought about it for a second and he would not accept that. During the questioning, he opened the door to the questioning room to find the detective and the officers all turning to the door, ready for a fight. Then relaxing when they saw it was just him. Apparently you don't want to just barge in unannounced. They don't like that. But he asks the detective to talk for a second. My brother goes over the evidence one more time and literally shows him that 3 times in 1 week that the jerk has scammed people. 1, him, 2, his co-worker, who luckily didn't fall for it, and 3, me, the setup. There is no way this guy hasn't been doing this for a while. The detective agreed with my brother that it's blatantly obvious that this guy had a system in place and they decided to do more digging. Last I heard, the jerk owes $30,000 in stolen goods and is serving time in prison. I don't know for how long, but it feels so good to see the satisfaction on my brother's face. Edit. Allow me to clarify for all of you thinking the cops were way out of line when they raided his place. Not only did we have sufficient evidence that could grant a warrant easily, but we also had a confession from the jerk himself. He literally told the cops I still have his laptop. I think he thought giving it back would make it all go away. So the jerk allowed them to enter his place to retrieve my brother's laptop. They didn't break down doors gun blazing, though that would have been awesome. No, they just got the jerk in such a tight spot he knew it didn't matter. So he allowed the cops to raid his place. Quick pause, folks. If you're loving these stories, do me a solid, hit that like button, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It's a small click for you, but it's a giant leap for our Crown Crew community. Alright, let's jump back into the action. I was driving home from work, the traffic light ahead turning red, and I slowed down coming to a stop. That's when it happened. A sudden jolt from behind. My head snapped back, then forward. What the? I muttered, checking the rear view mirror. There it was, a shiny black SUV. Its front bumper crumbled against the back of my car. Shaking my head, I got out, ready to deal with the usual post-accident formalities. The driver of the SUV, a woman with an extravagant hairstyle and sunglasses too big for her face, stepped out too. She walked towards me, her heels clicking angrily on the asphalt. "You, look what you made me do to my car," she accused, pointing a perfectly manicured finger at me. I was taken aback. "I'm sorry, but you hit me from behind. I was stopped at the red light," she scoffed, flipping her hair. "Nonsense! You stopped too suddenly. It's your fault." Trying to keep my cool, I suggested, "Let's just exchange insurance information and let them sort this out." She rolled her eyes. "Insurance? Oh please. Do you know who I am? I am Karen Masters, and I don't deal with such trivialities." That name meant nothing to me. "Okay, Mrs. Masters, but we still need to follow the process." Karen huffed, pulling out her phone. "I am calling my lawyer. This is absurd." While she was busy with her call, I dialed the police. It's standard to report an accident, especially when the other party is being uncooperative. The police arrived quickly and the officer approached us. "Good evening. Can you both tell me what happened?" I explained the situation calmly, showing him the position of the vehicles and a red light. Karen interrupted me several times, insisting it was my fault. The officer listened patiently before turning to Karen. "Ma'am, have you been drinking this evening?" Karen's face turned red. "Drinking? How dare you? I'm a respected member of the community. I don't need to answer your ridiculous questions." The officer remained calm. "Ma'am, I can smell alcohol on your breath. I am going to need you to take a breathalyzer test." Karen was outraged. "A breathalyzer? I will not subject myself to such humiliation." Despite her protests, the officer insisted. Karen finally agreed, huffing and puffing, about how she would have everyone's job for this. The breathalyzer beeped, and the officer checked the reading. "Ma'am, you're over the legal limit. I am going to have to ask you to come with me." Karen's outrage turned to panic. "You can't arrest me. Do you know who I am?" The officer was unmoved. "Yes, ma'am, I do. And you're under arrest for driving under the influence. Please turn around and put your hands behind your back." As Karen was handcuffed and led to the police officer, she kept yelling about how she knew important people and how this was all a mistake. I then gave my statement to another officer, but the story didn't end there. A few days later, I received a call from an unknown number, and it was Karen. "Listen, I am willing to forgive you for what happened if you just retract your statement. It's causing me a lot of trouble," she said. She was trying to sound condescending, but she was definitely desperate. I was shocked. "Forgive me, you hit my car, and you were drunk driving." She sighed as if I was the one being difficult. "Let's not get hung up on details, shall we? I have a reputation to maintain, and this little incident is a stain on my record." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You're asking me to lie to the police so you can get away with DUI? There's no need to be so dramatic. Think of it as helping out someone in need." I firmly refused. "I am not going to lie for you. What you did was wrong, and you need to face the consequences." Karen's tone turned icy. "You'll regret this. I have powerful friends, you know." I ended the call shocked at her audacity. The case went to court and I was called as a witness. Karen, dressed in an expensive suit, gave a performance worthy of an Oscar, painting herself as a victim of circumstance. But the evidence was against her. The pre-Eliza results, the police report, and my testimony. And eventually the judge found Karen guilty of DUI. Well deserved. Hi, let me share a bit about myself. My story isn't flashy or filled with adventure, but it's mine, and it's brought me here to be my baby's mom. I grew up in a small town. My mom was a nurse, and my dad was a school teacher. After finishing college, I moved to the city for a job, and that's where I met my husband. He's the kind of person who lights up a room with his smile. We fell in love, got married by a beautiful lake, surrounded by our families and friends. It was perfect. We dreamed of starting our own family, but it wasn't easy. It took years. Years filled with hope and heartache. But then our beloved baby came into our lives. He was our little miracle. A bundle of joy after a long storm. He changed everything. Our daily walks became my sanctuary. Just my sweet baby in his stroller and me. We'd wander through the park under the big old trees, and I'd tell him about the clouds, the birds, everything around us. It was our special time. I never thought something like that encounter with Karen could happen. Not on our peaceful walks. Not in our simple life. That day shook me, made me realize how quickly things can change, and how deep a mother's love and protection can run. So here is my story. I was out for a walk one day with my little one. He was snugly strapped in his new stroller, a sleek model that took me ages to pick out. As we turned a corner, a woman I'd never seen before stopped us. "Excuse me, that's a fancy stroller. Where did you get it?" I was taken aback, but managed to smile. "Oh, thank you. I got it at Baby World downtown. It's been great for walks like this." Then her look shifted to my baby. I was out asking. She reached out and started touching his blanket. I felt a wave of discomfort wash over me. I asked her politely, could you please not touch him? The Karen of my story looked surprised but pulled her hand back. "Oh, sure." The conversation awkwardly shifted back to the stroller. "You know, I have a baby too. Could you take my number and give me yours? I might want to borrow the stroller sometime if you don't mind. I don't really think I can afford one." I was puzzled. "Oh, I don't think that would work for me," I replied, looking at her son standing beside her. He looked about 9 and was busy with a handheld game console. "But I really need it. Just give me your number, so I could call you later to take it for quick runs here and there." "I'm sorry, but no. I need it for my baby and I'm not comfortable lending it out." I tried to push the stroller forward, hoping to end the conversation, but Karen didn't budge. Suddenly, she got aggressive. She grabbed the stroller handle, stopping me in my tracks. "You can't just leave. We're having a conversation here, and I need that stroller. Please let go." I looked around, hoping someone would notice what was happening. "I told you I need it." In a panic, I raised my voice. "Help! Someone, please help!" Out of nowhere, Karen kicked the stroller hard. The force jolted it, and my poor baby started crying. I screamed, terrified for my baby. People started gathering, drawn by my screams. I saw Karen's angry expression as she turned to walk away. And that's when something in me snapped. I hadn't thrown a punch in years, but I knew exactly what to do. After all, I was what you could call a professional boxer back in high school. With all my might, I swung from behind and hit Karen squarely in the back of her head. She stumbled and fell out cold. Needless to say, the police arrived within minutes, along with the paramedics. They attended to Karen, who was still unconscious, and then they turned to me. I explained everything. A police officer nodded, taking notes. "It seems that you acted in self-defense of your child. We will need you to come down to the station for a statement though." As I followed the officer, I looked back at my baby, now calmed and safe in his stroller. I felt relieved. Eventually, Karen was charged with assault and endangering a child, among other things. I learned later that she had a history of erratic behavior. The court case was brief and she received 1 year in prison. Afterwards, I became more cautious, more aware of the world around me. This experience, as harrowing as it was a chapter in my life I'd never forget, one that had changed me in ways I never expected. And that, my friends, wraps up another episode of jaw-dropping stories here at K-Korner. What a ride, right? I hope you enjoyed listening as much as I loved sharing these tales with you. Remember, life is full of surprises, and who knows, maybe your story will be featured next. Keep living your best life, stay carefree, and I'll catch you in the next video. This is Crown, signing off.